She's going to try to make it. So we should have a good group.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I appreciate it. It really helped out last week. As I told Douglas, I mean, I was about to make the same mistake he was making in writing a big old document on everything.
Keep it simple.
Yeah, instead of keep it simple, stupid, you use keep it simple, sweetheart.
There you go.
Or type thing. It's a little bit more polite. I had to laugh at that last week, and I was like, that's polite.
Yeah. Just keep it simple. Yeah, 714 is a symposium, and a symposium is just a conglomeration of different topics to be discussed. And so we've tried to stick with that, writing the curriculum for this class, of course, with a focus on the prospectus towards the end, which reminds me, I need to pop those up. Did you send yours in by any chance, Jason, that I just might have missed it? Or
Send my what? I'm sorry.
I'm just curious if you sent in your outline from Res 709 to review today.
No, I don't believe I have.
Okay, that's fine. I'm just, oh, I don't want.
In fact, I'm just catching up on everything right now. What outline would you like?
Your final paper from Res 709.
Okay, and just mail it to you through the system, or?
Yeah, that would be fine. And that's if you want to go over it.
Sure.
Okay, yeah. If you want to send it in the messages in the classroom or just to my email, either one will be fine.
I'll just take a moment.
Yeah, take your time.
Yeah, as I mentioned last week, I've been looking over the tools that you and I believe Lisa mentioned as well, and I like that a lot better than my Excel spreadsheets and my folder that's full of all my classes organized, every paper, and then included every discussion. It's just, I like the discussions that we have here, and I wish in a way that was the old style of Phoenix where there was a little bit more discussion, because you can learn from everyone else's point of view.
I agree. Yeah, you're talking about the number of posts per week?
Yeah, 8 was quite a bit a few years ago, but it gave more opinions and you could see all sides of the arguments all the way through, so you really learned from everybody else.
I agree. When they went from 6 to 4, I really provided a lot of pushback on that, just for that very simple reason. But the one thing I have noticed, Jason, is people are more thoughtful in their postings now. But I do miss that, the old platform. Were you in UOP when we had the other platform? It was they called it the new classroom, but you could follow.
Yes, and transitioning to Blackboard was difficult at first.
Yeah, I agree. But I really enjoyed the old platform because you were able to see all the threads at once without having to do all this stupid clicking. And students, they really responded a lot more in the old classroom than I've noticed they do here. But that's okay. That is okay.
I have found in this new platform that Grammarly does work within everything, which is nice.
Got 2 more people trying to get in and I just messed up. Hang on just a minute. Where are they?
I did notice, by the way, your comment on last week's assignment. I'm still struggling on APA 7th, the whole transition.
And that's it. Yeah, and that's okay. Let's see. Admit. Okay. Good morning, Cheryl. Good morning, Alicia. And Sonia. Where is Douglas? Douglas is always here.
Nathan, I can't. The water. Mm-hmm. Yes. Doing my knitting.
Okay, why don't we go ahead and get started? Thank y'all for taking time out of your busy schedules. But, you know, those of you who have been attending, you have come to appreciate how much you can gain from these Saturday morning chats. And, you know, it would be awesome to see everybody here, but I think that's pushing the envelope, I think. But anyway, I actually have an agenda today, guys, instead of just winging it. But I first want to start by asking, does anybody have any questions or concerns that they want to bring up? And this is a very safe platform, so feel free. If you do, you have to unmute yourself. And there's Lisa. Let me admit her.
Let's see where
Good morning, Lisa.
Good morning. How's everybody doing?
Doing well, and yourself?
Great. No complaints. I haven't finished my oh, I see you've got a new picture.
Oh yeah, I can. Let me go back to Starbucks. I feel still. This was the other night. I had a Zoom meeting, and it was nighttime, so I felt more inclined to be in the night sky. But there we go. Yeah. Is that better, Lisa?
Either one is good.
Oh,
good.
Well, we're just getting started, and I wanted to first ask everybody if they had any questions about anything going on this week or anything like that. Crickets? Then we'll move forward. I'm quite proud of myself. I have an agenda today. Made some notes while I was assessing the work this week, and there's some things I want to share with you. So make sure that you have a pen and a paper handy. If you have trouble, okay, so whenever you have a journal article in the reference section, that journal article, you have to provide, okay, let me back up one step. APA states that as one of our responsibilities as researcher in our writings is to provide the reader the easiest access to a journal article possible. Well, whenever they realized that the internet was just busting out with articles and everything, 10 or 15 years ago, they started assigning DOI numbers, digital object identifiers, to all journal articles so that it's easier to find and it's easier to reference. Now, the cool thing about it is any new article that is published, it immediately is assigned a DOI number. And what the organization is working on now is working backwards and assigning DOI numbers to older articles. So there may be an article that you come across that doesn't have a DOI number, and I'm jumping ahead of myself. I want to start with DOI numbers. Can you see my screen okay? The Google screen?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So what I encourage you all to do, strongly encourage you to do, is to bookmark this website. It's crossref.org. And crossref.org is where you go to find DOI numbers if you can't find them in the journal article.
Oh,
Most of the time in the journal articles, you'll find the DOI number on the actual article itself online. You'll find it in the upper left-hand corner in a bunch of verbiage that they have up there. But what you don't want to do is to provide, let me see if I can find an example. And if I pop up somebody's paper, my intent is not to embarrass you. Okay, here's a perfect example. You see that where, especially in this URL, it shows login.
mm-hmm.
That means that the person would have to have access to that database.
Okay.
And if they're not affiliated with a university, they're not going to have access to that database. So you have to avoid that. So let's see if this article has a DOI number. It's parental involvement in adolescence education, blah, blah, blah. I'm going to copy that. I'm going to go back to crossref.org. Now, in crossref.org, the default is search site. And you want to go over here to search metadata. And then you just simply paste in the title of the article, hit enter. And we're waiting. Yeah, is that it? I forgot to look at the author's name.
Oh, Lordy. I do
Park.
too.
Parental involvement at school by race, parental involvement in adolescent education. Okay, so it's not here. So what I'm going to do next is I'm just simply going to open up another URL
Mhm,
and copy and paste the title.
mhm.
There it is. It's the first one. It's also, there's a PDF to it, which is even better.
Okay.
Okay, let's open the first one up first. Let me see if anybody else is waiting to get in.
I'm here.
Okay, so here's the article. And here on the article itself, it tells you where it's available. So you just copy that. Then you go back to the and just simply paste in that URL. And that will take the reader directly to the article. Whether they have access to a database or not, they will be able to access that article easily. That is your responsibility, guys.
Okay.
As a researcher, it is your responsibility to provide the easiest access to articles for the readers.
How do you know when you have the right article?
How do you know when you have the right article?
Oh, you heard me. Good morning.
Yes. Good morning, Cheryl. Well, this article is Park and Holloway.
Yeah.
And when I copied and pasted it, there's Park and Holloway.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm,
And it's the same title.
mm-hmm.
So I know that that is the article.
Okay.
And as I mentioned a while ago, a lot of times the verbiage will be up here in the upper left-hand corner.
Mm-hmm.
But if you don't see it there, just kind of scroll through and see if you can find it like here.
Okay.
School community journal. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mhm.
Now let's say that we found the article, but there's no URL to attach to it.
Mm-hmm.
You can go up here and copy that URL, the PDF that we found.
Yes.
And you can use that one as well because
Oh.
it's an open access document on the internet. So
Okay.
anybody's going to be able to access it. But crossref.org, Guys, this is going to be such a huge time saver for you. Huge time saver. Because the last thing you want to do is get into the last few classes of your dissertation classes and somebody tell you, oh, you don't have any DOI numbers for your journal articles. And if you have 10, 20 pages of references, you just start calculating how much time that's going to take you. Weeks.
Thank you for telling us about that login. I didn't realize that login is the indicator that you don't have open access.
Correct. Yeah.
Thank
And also, you just want to avoid URLs to databases because you just don't know if the reader's going to have access to them. Now, Eric is different, and so is the one that we just... Eric is different because anybody can access the Eric site.
Mm-hmm.
Now, if you provide a URL to a site like the journal website, and you find that somebody's going to have to pay for the article,
Mm-hmm.
that's not your responsibility. Your responsibility is to show them the easiest access to the article.
Okay.
Even if they have to pay for it, that's up to them.
Okay.
Okay?
Got it.
Crossref.org. It will be a lifesaver for you. So whoever's this is that I've got up here, Alicia, I just provided you with a URL, hon. I'll highlight it so you know whenever you get it back.
Great.
Also, as we transition to APA 6 to APA 7th, APA 7th no longer requires the retrieved from. So
Okay.
you don't have to type in retrieved from, you just provide the URL or the DOI.
Okay.
Just those two words, retrieved from. That's no longer needed. And you can keep the hyperlinks now too in the reference page, whereas before you had to remove them. APA 7th says you can keep the hyperlinks in there. This must be Douglas. Just a moment. Good morning, Douglas.
I was looking for my phone.
Good morning, doctor. I have the same problem. I'm sorry I'm late. My mother is very, very ill today.
Oh, I'm
My
so
mother is
sorry.
90. I had to take care of her. I'm so sorry to break in on your lecture. I apologize to all my friends. I'm sure Jason thought you were there. I'm sure others too. But I just want to say that I'm on the phone and forgive me for being late and for barking in on this wonderful session. But I'm here.
Well, awesome.
Thank you so much.
I hope your mother gets to feeling better soon, Douglas, and thank you. I'm glad you were able to join us, and better late than never. So,
That's right.
Douglas,
That's right.
we were
Well,
just...
Thank you so much again. I apologize to you.
Oh, not a problem. We were just discussing how to locate DOI numbers
Yes.
for all journal articles, and I just introduced the website crossref.org. And guys...
Oh, yeah, let me grab a pen. Yeah,
Okay.
go ahead. I'm sorry.
Well, and that also, if you... I know at the very beginning of a course, everything is so crazy and y'all are so busy. And I totally understand that. But I do want to bring your attention to Blackboard. Takes 30 to 45 seconds for a link to open up for me. It drives me crazy.
Sorry.
It is long time.
1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi.
That is good.
Okay, so in week one, there's that required resources task, and I appreciate that most of you probably just zipped through it and made a comment, and that's okay. But there is information in that link as soon as Blackboard decides to let me in that gives you information about crossref.org and what to do if a DOI number is not available.
Okay.
So let's say that a DOI number is not available. Well, then you copy and paste like I just showed you, and see if you can find a PDF file for it. If not, then you need to provide a link to the journal's website. For example, let's just assume that the Park and Holloway article didn't have a link to it. We couldn't find a link. So then I'm going to find the School Community Journal website.
Okay.
And then I would provide that URL. So in order, DOI number comes first. If it doesn't have a DOI number, see if you can find a PDF file on it or a direct link to the article just by Googling. If not, then provide a URL to the journal's website. And that is explained here under number 6, required resources task in week 1. Talks about DOI numbers for journal articles. It gives you the crossref.org link. And what to do, I might have skipped that. If an article doesn't have a DOI number, please refer to the APA manual for alternatives. Well, I just gave you the alternatives, so there you go. Any questions about this?
Oh, so that was 3 ways of trying to get.
In order. The
Yeah.
first is a DOI, then a direct link, and if you can't find that, then you give a URL to the journal's website.
Got it.
DOI number crossref. I'm going to quit sharing the screen real quick to see if there's anybody else waiting to get in. There is not. Okay. So next on my little agenda, reference page. Oh, I wanted to show you guys a few tricks of the trade. You may already know this. Alicia, I hope you don't mind that I'm using your paper. It was just very, very easy to access. So I thank you for that. Hers are, you've got your page formatted beautifully. Let me find one that isn't.
A for Alicia.
Yay, go Alicia, go Alicia. Okay, everybody.
Thank you.
Let me find a really, really bad one. I don't want to show anybody's name. And it won't be in your class, so don't worry about that.
Don't pull up mine.
I won't.
Or mine.
Chickens. Let's see. Oh, this one. Okay. Okay, let's see. I got to delete some comments here because I don't want to. Don't want to go against FERPA. Okay. I just copied it and pasted it so it's totally anonymous. So what's the first thing that you see here that might be wrong?
A line to that number. That's looking not good.
The alignment is not there.
The alignment.
They're not tabbed in.
The hanging hanging indents are
indent.
missing. Yes. So what I've done is I've highlighted it with my cursor. And then I'm going to go down. I'm going to hit Control T, as in Tom. Control T. And it automatically puts a hanging indent.
Cool.
That is really phenomenal.
Very cool.
Yeah.
I like that.
And
Or you go to reference in on Microsoft Word.
I'm sorry, hon?
Or you can use the tab that says reference under Microsoft Word.
Oh,
Ah.
The tab. Oh, show me where.
And I can't see your foot. And then you should see where it says style, APA, and then bibliography.
Yes, ma'am.
uh-huh.
And you can list all your sources, and then you can go and do your references how you want them. And then tell it to insert the bibliography. So you're going to do works cited.
No, you're not going to do works cited. That's
I mean,
MLA.
references. You
Yeah.
references, I'm sorry.
Okay.
But you
Oh.
have to have put it in.
Okay.
Like you have to, where it says insert citation.
Yes,
You
ma'am.
gotta first insert all your information first,
Okay.
and then it's gonna create a references page.
Okay. And you are encouraged not to use that, because what it does is it embeds it into a template,
Mm-hmm.
and nobody can go in and make any changes to it.
Yeah, I learned that in your previous class of 709. You told me to stop using that.
Don't use that. No, you can't. You shouldn't use that. Let me show you another way to set hanging indents. If you go up to you highlight it, you go up to the paragraph tab up here, and under indentation special, you click hanging,
Mm.
and that also
Well, that's
provides the
good.
hanging indent.
The easiest is that Control T.
Yes, I agree.
Well, actually, Lisa, the easiest thing to do is to do the very first reference,
Uh-huh.
and then the entire rest of the reference page will be formatted that way. If you just do that first reference with the hanging indent, it automatically does it.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah.
Mm.
I'm all for easy to remember.
I think, yeah, I'm with you.
Absolutely. So let's look at what might be wrong in that line.
It's all italics. It should be just the journal is in italics. And
Okay.
then
Regular numbers.
also the issue number would be also in italics, but not the 2019, and the year shouldn't be there either.
Correct. This is what this is a article number, and you don't provide an article number. You provide, as Sonia was stating, of course you italicize the title of the journal that the article came from. Now, Sonia, I have noticed that there are some journals that do use the year of date, the year of publication as their volume number, but I don't include that. I just provide the journal article, the journal name, but this is an article number, and you don't ever provide that. So that would be gone. Good observation. Okay. That's good.
Thank you, because I didn't know about that either.
Yeah, and there's all these little tricks of the trade that I try to provide my students with early on so that they don't get caught in the quagmire of all the stuff. Let's see what else is on my agenda. Double spacing throughout. Okay, so some people like to use a word template. And I'm going to stop sharing for just a moment so I can find another example. Okay. I want you to ignore all of the comments. I'm just copying and pasting to get rid of the student's name. Oh, good. It didn't bring the comments over. Okay. Okay, so I've just been doing this for so long. I can automatically tell that the line spacing on this is not correct. Everything should be double spaced throughout. So I'm going to highlight all of that and then go up to the paragraph tab. And in the third section down where it says spacing, you want to make sure that the before and after are set on 0 and that the line spacing is set on double. That way you have true double spacing throughout. Word default automatically places like 6 points after a line spacing so that it's not a true double. But to make sure that your documents are true double spaced, always go in and make sure that both set on 0 and that the line spacing is on double instead of 1.5 at least or multiple. You want it double. And there wasn't a big change in that, but it did correct some line spacings through here. And that's what I was going for. So, so if you ever get a comment back and it says, keep line spacing double consistent throughout, even though it may look double spaced to you, to somebody else it isn't. So check that out.
Okay.
See what else. I think we hit on this last week. Do not use the citation reference generators. Big do not use. And the reason being, see. Oh my gosh, this is painful this morning. Slow. Okay.
Gives me time to drink my coffee.
You just
What
go
happened?
for it.
Yeah, it is slow. It's real slow. Everybody must have picked up what you were doing.
Okay, so I'm going to check out that's a newspaper. I want an article. Give me an article. There it is. Thinking Like a Nurse. Let's check out this article. This might have something. Okay, so I found this article and I want to use it. So I'm going to go over here and I'm going to hit Cite. And oh, well, let's see. Now I need to scroll down and find APA. So I am just going to copy and paste this. Boy, you talk about easy for my reference page. Isn't that easy, guys?
Something's wrong.
Something's wrong.
Something's wrong.
So I'm going to go over here to my reference page. and I'm going to add it.
Mhm.
Voila, I'm done. I don't have anything else to do, right?
That doesn't look right. But okay.
Yeah, that has a few problems.
It has a whole lot of problems. That's a citation reference generator. It provides you the information you need. But every citation reference generator also has a disclaimer stating this is the information you need. Now you need to go format it. I mean, it doesn't say it that way, but if you also notice whenever you do that, most times there's a gray highlighting behind it.
Yeah.
Drives me crazy. I know immediately what you've done and I will comment on it.
Okay.
So there are some errors here. For example, you do not use quotation marks in the references.
Mhm.
So I'm going to go get rid of those. Now the nursing education and practice 43, that is correct.
Mhm.
But this is saying no page. That's what the NPAG means.
Mhm.
And sometimes, guys, you've got to do some research to get the information that you need. Okay, so here's the DOI number.
Mm.
And if you notice, that wasn't provided in the citation generator.
Exactly.
So then I'm going to copy that.
Mhm.
Actually, I went to go see if there were page numbers, didn't I?
So are page numbers a must?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, it's telling me I'm not in. I must have automatically logged out. But anyway, if you're logged in to the library, you can get access to the entire article, and then you will need to find the page numbers and provide the page numbers.
Okay.
So that's just a few reasons why you should never trust the citation reference generators, because they don't provide all the information, and the formatting. I'm really surprised at how the formatting on this is pretty good. Wasn't bad. So they provide you the information you need, but you are the one that must format it to APA standards.
Hmm.
Okay. Any questions?
Hmm.
Oh,
Yes.
thinking out loud. Would it be possible to send us like a perfectly formatted?
You have one.
Okay.
Reference page?
I was thinking about the APA format. That's what you're talking about?
Yeah.
Yeah, I was thinking
Well,
about
okay, let me retract that statement. Maybe I haven't provided it yet. Did I not provide y'all with a student example paper in APA 7?
You probably did.
I know you did give us the APA 7 format last week.
Yes.
But
Is that what you were wanting?
no, I was wondering if there was a exactly what you were saying, a sample paper.
For the APA formats, that's what you're asking about, right?
Yeah.
Correct.
And again, excuse me if I barked at you a while ago and said I already have. Maybe I haven't yet in this class.
Well, there's no barking here. Getting excited about things. No barking, no barking.
Let me just send it to y'all.
This is going to sound crazy. You do know I have an APA manual, the hard copy, and I have no clue as to what I'm looking at when I open that book.
Thank you. Me too. Oh,
Okay, so I don't, okay. I thought I was the only one feeling like, okay, you don't know anything.
Oh no. And God, in all honesty, guys, it wasn't until the end of my master's degree that I finally figured out how that manual was organized. So
Well,
then,
I'm in my doctorates and I don't know.
oh,
I know, me too. I'm here with
okay,
you.
we'll go over that in a minute. Let me
Okay, then I have to find my book. Okay.
let me take care of this before I forget.
Okay, though. There's a student paper exam. Oh, I just got that this week.
Yes, ma'am. I bet you haven't opened it, have you?
Yes, I did open it.
Yes,
Yes, I did too. But clarification sometimes is needed.
Well, let's pop it open real quick and look at it.
I'll look at yours. It's easier.
That's
I
funny.
can take notes. Listen, I opened and I said, oh, and you know what's so funny is back in the master's program, I was doing this exact alignment of paper format.
Uh-huh.
And I was told, no, just your name. Okay, fine. So I did that for quite a few classes. And then all of a sudden this popped up. Okay, I'm done.
Okay, thank you. Now there is, for the student paper in APA 7th, there is a number of differences. First of all, you do not have to provide the title in the header anymore.
Mhm.
You just provide the page number in the upper right-hand corner.
Mhm.
If you
This is
notice,
Jason. I was shocked by that this last week because I read in 7th that I had to do it, but yeah.
Me too.
put a header in.
Yes, ma'am.
What
That's
page
why
is that, Jason? Do you remember?
I can look it up. It'll take me a moment.
Sure, take your time.
Here, that it showed on one example that the header was there. That's awesome. Just the page number.
Yeah. And do you leave that? Oh, no, I'm not going to ask that.
No, ask that. I dare you. Ask it.
Okay, you know how it has the short title and the running header? Do you leave that in or take that out and just put your title? Because one time I submitted a paper and I took out where it said running header on the first page, and I just put the title. And when I got my paper back, I was told, no, leave running header. And I was like, okay.
Not in 7th.
Okay.
Not in APA 7th.
You see how fast everything changed?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So confusing sometimes.
I know in LDR we did need it, but then we were in between transitioning from the 6th edition to the 7th edition.
Yeah.
And we tried to start making that transition in all of the access courses in May.
That's why I'm all confused.
Yes, ma'am.
Because I finished my course.
You came in at a time when we were in transition.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
So be easy on yourself. It's all good.
Okay.
Elements and format.
Right, Dr. Hill, so far I've been instructed not to use headers. Both the masters and the doctoral program, I've been asked not to use them. They tend to pop up when I go to a new template. Are you saying that we should, next paper, begin to utilize them?
Ask that again, Douglas.
Oh, I'm sorry, Dr. Hill. I was saying that prior to today's discourse, I've attempted now and again to utilize headers, Dr. Hill, but my professors have always politely instructed me not please to use headers. They just want me to use page numbers and, of course, headings, subheadings, but not the perforated headers. And so I'm just asking, are we changing that policy now to subvert into revert, if you will, to headers, using headers now?
We're just talking about the title of the paper in the top headers. In that.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
That makes sense. Thank you.
Guys, if you look on, if you have your APA manuals, on page 31 and 32, 31 is a professional title page. It does have a header, but on page 32 is a sample student paper, and there is no header.
Okay.
So until you get to the point of writing an article for a journal, you will not be using headers.
Okay.
So the only thing required in a student example paper in the headers are the page numbers in the upper right-hand corner. Now in APA 6, there were only 3 lines on a student example paper, and they have extended it to 5 lines plus the title of the paper. And they have added an additional double space between the title and your name. And also another difference, yeah, Sean and I discussed that.
So the title of paper is in bold lettering, right?
Yes, the title of the paper is in bold.
Okay.
Yes. Now, also, I just want to bring to your attention the title of, okay, so let me jump ahead. If you go down here where it says in-text citations, that is a level 1 heading. The title of the paper is the title of the paper. It is not a level heading. So make sure that you have that distinction in your mind. The title of the paper is not a level heading. It is simply the title of the paper. The level heading, this is level heading 1, the in-text citations. That is letting the reader know this is the first section I'm going to be, this is the title of the first section of my paper I'm going to be discussing. Now, if you notice over here, the narrative citations is also in bold. That is a level 2 heading. And there's another level 2 heading. So basically what this is saying is this section about in-text citations has been separated into 2 sections for easy discussions, the narrative citations and the parenthetical citations. And then we go back to another topic we're going to start discussing, which is another level 1 heading. And then the conclusion is a level 1 heading. Just think of it as back in elementary and middle school when you had to make these outlines.
Mm-hmm.
That's what the level headings are. It's just like making an outline. How are you going to organize this so that it's easy to read, easy to follow? Any questions?
Do you write conclusion?
Yes, ma'am.
Oh, okay. So now we are, oh, that was, yeah. Before
Yeah.
we didn't do that, right?
You don't ever provide a heading for an introduction
Okay, right.
because the introduction at this level of education, that first paragraph is always the introduction. And that's just known, so you don't have to provide a heading for it. And in that student example paper that I just sent you, the reference page, all these reference examples, it is formatted to APA. It is true double-spaced. It has proper hanging indents. Now, I found it interesting. What we tried to do is provide you, okay, here is an example for a journal article. And here's an example for a book. And here's an example, blah, blah, blah. And I've had students come in and try to separate their references by these topics. And no, all references are, you present the references in the reference section by the author's last name in alphabetical order. You don't separate them by these.
Okay.
I just wanted to make that clear. And see, it even says down here, note, references are listed in alphabetical order. All references listed in the reference list must have an in-text citation from that source in the body of the paper. Okay, just wanted to clarify that. What else? Models of thinking. Okay. Anybody have any questions about let's talk about the assignment for this week. So keeping in mind, this is a symposium, and a symposium is basically, I mean, if you were to go to a conference and there was a symposium one evening and they had round tables set up with different discussions going on at the different tables.
Yeah.
That's what this class is. It's a symposium. It is just an opportunity for us to have these different discussions. There's a method to this madness. It may seem like it's piecemealed, but it's not. I see you smiling, Lisa. But it's not. I mean, this curriculum is very thoughtfully planned, and everything scaffolds, builds on each other from week to week and within each week. So on the Inferences and Assumptions worksheet, boy, I hope we have time to go through that. That introduced you to this exercise where when we discuss it, you'll be amazed at the inferences and assumptions that you made as you were answering those questions. And then the discussion 2 is about creative criticality, and that gets back into critical thinking. So the inferences and assumptions is about critical thinking, about recognizing our own biases and situatedness. The creative criticality, again, it's tying in that critical thinking piece. And then when we get to the assignment, the models of thinking, you're given, I believe it's 3 different models to choose from. And we all think differently. Even our thinking processes as we're trying to solve a problem or find a solution to something, we all do it differently. So that's the reason why you were given these 3 different models to choose from. Which one reflects the way that you process information or how you go about solving a problem. And then that is, you're just to write a 500 to 700 word, here's that key word, guys, reflective. What's that? What's the first thing that should pop in your mind when you see that an assignment is reflective?
Mirror image.
That means you can use first person.
Okay.
Any reflections, you can use first person. and second person.
It's my thoughts.
If it doesn't say anything, I'm sorry, Alicia, what'd you say, hon?
Are you saying it's my thoughts?
Yes. Yeah, whenever you see that word reflective or reflection in an assignment, that should be your key word to know that, okay, I can relax. It's okay to use first person in this one. Anytime else, you never use first or second person. You don't use collective we, our, none of that. But this is a reflective piece, so you can use first person.
Now, Doctor, are we required to use first or second person?
You are not required. It's just okay if you do. And I was just getting ready to state, Douglas, I always challenge you guys. See if you can write this reflective piece in third person without using first or second person. Begin to think like a researcher. How can I go through this exercise, this assignment, and not use first person? But it's okay if you do. That's all. So what this assignment is, you're to write a 500 to 700 word discussion identifying the model of thinking that you chose, explaining the model, and any underlying assumptions and inferences you made while rationalizing the scenario presented in the Inferences and Assumptions exercise. And at 500 to 700 word, that's not big. It's not a big paper, and it's self-reflective. You're going to identify with one of the models of thinking that's presented, which one is more like the process that you use whenever you are thinking through a problem. Use that model and then discuss how that model replicated the way that you thought as you went through this exercise. So let's talk about this exercise, because this is really kind of fun. Just to refresh your memory, a businessman had just turned off the lights in the store when a man appeared and demanded money. The owner opened up a cash register. The contents of the cash register were scooped up and the man sped away. A member of the police force was notified promptly. So I provided the answers yesterday evening in the classroom. All of them are, and you're supposed to mark it with true, false, or unknown. All of them are unknown except for number 3 and 6.
Wow. Check.
And I usually go through this item by item, but that's something for you to think about. I challenge you to go back to that exercise that you did and figure out how so many of those are unknown when more than likely you answer true or false to them. Now, the only ones that have a definitive answer are number 3 and number 6. Someone did open a cash register. The man who appeared did not demand money. Number 3 is false and number 6 is true. Everybody else is unknown. So think about that as you do that assignment.
Okay.
What else was I going to do? Oh, yes. Alicia, I'm going to bring up your paper, hun. I stated that you guys could submit your research plans from 7:09 so that we could start reviewing them. What I am looking for, I'm not looking at the writing, I'm not looking at the formatting. All I'm going to be looking at is your program of studies, your problem statement, your purpose statement, the research questions, the methodology, and the design to make sure that they're all in alignment. So Alicia is in the EDD program. Her problem statement, the problem is gaps continue to persist. Is that your problem statement, Alicia?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, so here's her problem statement. Let's look at this. The problem is gaps continue to persist. Okay, so my first thought is what gaps? Without reading it, Arisma, what gaps are you talking about, hun?
Academic and digital efficacy. Academic achievement gaps.
I'm sorry?
Academic achievement gaps.
Thank you. So the problem is academic achievement gaps continue to persist between racial, ethnic, and socioeconomic groups are due to lack, okay, are due to. So what is happening here is you're providing a solution to the problem, which automatically negates that there isn't a problem. If you identify why the problem exists, then you don't have anything to research. Does that make sense? So the problem is academic achievement gaps continue to persist between racial, ethnic, and socioeconomic groups, resulting in, actually the consequence is academic achievement gaps. Does that make sense, Alicia?
No.
Okay. Resulting in a gap in, there it is. I didn't read far enough ahead, hun. Resulting in a gap in the success of student performance. Okay. Okay. Purpose of this qualitative descriptive case study will be to explore how parental involvement and advocacy affects student. Okay, so I see this word affects. So I'm going to be expecting a quantitative study.
No, ma'am. I had to change that word to influence.
Okay. Oh, okay. That'll take care of it.
Yes, ma'am.
Here it is. Okay. How does parental involvement and advocacy influence academic performance within a middle school? Here it's defined. Involvement. Okay. Parental involvement. You've got that up there. Perfect. Very good. In the methodological section, guys, this making the transition from Res 709 to your prospectus for this class, that's the section where you're going to be defending the methodology that you chose. For example, Alicia stated she's going to use a qualitative study. So this section needs to discuss why a qualitative study is a better fit for her topic. And also, on the other side of that, present the argument why a quantitative study would not be. And so as you start working on this for this class, getting your prospectus ready, you'll need to go through and remove all of the first person and second person usage. Because I know that everybody in 709 does that, and that's okay. Design, qualitative, descriptive case study. Very good, Alicia. Social development theory. Very good.
Dr. Hill, I'm sorry, I had to use the restroom, so I missed out on the end of the discussion of our assignment this week. I got the gist of it. I'm so sorry to interrupt, but I came back 5 minutes ago. You're discussing, obviously, qualitative and quantitative studies, and that would involve last semester's work that we did in RES 709. Do you want us to resubmit, Doctor, our methodology and design for our prospective dissertation to you?
Yeah, if you, last week, I think I stated it in the class too. If you would like some feedback on your research plan from 709, getting ready to start building your prospectus for this class, go ahead and submit it, and we can either discuss it in our Saturday morning chats. If you prefer that it not be an open discussion, that's fine. Just let me know, and I can provide feedback independently so that you can start polishing up this research plan in preparation for your prospectus, which is due the end of this class. Did that answer your question?
Right. Yes, ma'am. Yes. That with all my classmates, I think I hear Lisa, Sonia, Adia, Alicia, Jason. I think we all submitted our just the beginning, if you will, of our prospectus about 2 weeks ago. But I can touch that up, Doctor, and resubmit it, please. And we can do either or. I'd actually welcome the input of my peers on my study, and also flash you an email to get your input. I think it'll work out very well.
So you've already submitted it, Douglas?
No, I submitted just what was required. The first week, I guess, is to submit a very, very brief connotation of our purpose, plan, and design for our study. And then you asked us, I believe, last Saturday to please be more specific and do a work in progress analysis, if you please, of your study. And I'm working on that now, but I just want to know when that is due. And I'd love to talk about it with you and with my peers also.
In week 6 is when we start digging in and working on the prospectus. And I'm opening that up now.
So Dr. Hill, we can submit it to you like as a message or with our assignment this week?
As a message, please, not in the assignment link. Things get lost there.
Okay.
I just noticed.
That's a good point. Thank you. Was that Alicia or Lisa who said that?
I think it was Simon.
Yes, thank you. That's a good idea. Send it as a message. I was wondering about that too. I forgot to ask. I was going to send it as an assignment, as a Word document, but that would be confusing. Best to send it as a message, then I won't be confusing the assignment with the record.
Okay, I just noticed in the week 6 prospectus, the prospectus template is not there. I'm going to add that real quick. Okay, so the prospectus template is now in week 6 assignment link prospectus. So you can use that. You can go ahead and download that and start getting things polished up. but you'll notice that it is basically the same thing as the Res 709 template that you had, only it gets a little bit more in depth. And there's information there about locating DOI numbers and journal articles. That should not be there. And that should not be there. Okay. Where did I put it? I'll have to find it here, and I don't want to waste our time doing that. Anyway, it will be there. Thought I just saved it, but now I can't find it. Where did I put it at? Any questions?
So, Doctor, when we submit, shall I say, just the skeptical outline of our prospectus, for lack of a better terminology, you want that done, I think, as Alicia said, or Lisa, as a message, but not as a Word document, because that it would probably confuse that Word document with the present week's assignment.
No, submit it in a, hang on just a second, in the message area of the classroom, the little envelope, submit it as a Word document there, just to me.
Mm-hmm.
So submit, Doctor, what that little envelope shows in his message. Then it won't be confused, I was saying, with the assignment of record.
Correct.
Right, very good. Well, thank you. That clarifies. I was a bit confused, but that makes total sense. Thank you.
Oh, my pleasure. So the prospectus template is now available in week 6 under the assignment description, the prospectus, so that those of you who like to work ahead, go ahead and download that. And based on the feedback that I've been providing you in your writing, go in and make any changes. Really pay attention to avoiding the use of vague pronouns in your writing. Once you really kick into doing that, you'll be amazed at how quickly your writing style will transition to scholarly writing. But go ahead and start cleaning that up. You'll be submitting it in week 6 and 7 for the assignment, and weekly it is the final assignment. And we won't go too far in advance there, but okay.
Or we know it.
Or yeah, that too, that'll work. That will work.
Doctor, you said avoid the use of what again, please?
Vague pronouns.
Oh, okay, thank you. I didn't hear it.
Okay.
Thank you.
Have I sent you the words to avoid in scholarly writing?
Yes, you did.
Okay. Yeah. Those are that's a list of the vague pronouns.
Okay.
They.
Mm-hmm.
It.
Oh, okay. They.
This. There. This is. There are. Overuse of pronouns. Them. They. Their.
Mm-hmm.
All of that. It just. What the pronouns do is it puts a very conversational tone to your writing. And that's what you want to avoid in scholarly writing, is that conversational tone. Just think you as a researcher, what you're doing is you're presenting, your only goal as a researcher is to present information. That's it. You don't need to build a plot. You don't need to build a storyline. You don't need to talk about, what happened last night at dinner. It is, you are providing information on the topic that you're writing about. And that information must be substantiated with literature. So in other words, you're going to, whenever you are presented with a topic that you have to write a paper about, you're going to go out and you're going to start reading everything you can on that topic and make a list, keep a file of all of the articles and material that you read. Then you're going to sit back and you're going to absorb that information and really think about that information. And then you're going to start writing your paper based off of what you remember. That is paraphrasing.
Okay.
What you've done in that process, when you go out and you read these articles, you're analyzing those articles to find the information that you need for your discussion. After you read all these articles, that time when you sit back and think about everything that you've read, in your mind, in your model of thinking, you're going to be looking at what one author stated versus what another author stated. You're going to be looking at the contradictions or the similarities. That's the evaluation piece of critical thinking. And then when you sit back and you really think about what you've read and the topic that you're going to be discussing, and you come up with your own discussion on this topic, that's the synthesis part. That's where the critical thinking, that's where we're trying to get you to go, so that whenever you begin writing your dissertation, you're not just providing a long string of direct quotes, or simply taking information from one article and trying to plug it into your discussion. You need to analyze those articles. You need to absorb what those articles stated, and then sit back and think about how one author discussed it versus another author discussed it. That's the evaluation piece. And then what comes out for your writing is going to be something different than what they presented. And that's the synthesis. That's the critical thinking piece. Okay.
Were you done with providing feedback, Miss Dr. Hill? Because I think we got kind of sidetracked on you were providing feedback to my paper.
Oh, I'll continue with that feedback, Alicia, and you were in excellent alignment with everything, so no, you're good to go.
Okay.
It was just, every instructor has their own idea of how a problem statement should be worded.
Mm-hmm.
Not that yours is wrong, it's just different than what I kind of go with. Does that make sense? Yeah.
Yes, ma'am. Mm-hmm.
So once I read your entire problem statement, then it made sense. I did notice one thing, Alicia, that I'd like to bring out to your attention. Let me bring that up again real quick. In your problem statement, you provided the citation in the middle of the sentence. You want to avoid doing that.
Okay.
Everybody does it different. Let me guess, McCaslin?
No.
Lane.
No, actually, it wasn't.
Oh, don't tell me it was Boone.
Yes, ma'am.
Oh, I'm gonna get him.
Yes, ma'am. Because he told me I had to go back and cite the second portion of it as well. That's why you have two different citations there.
Seriously.
Yes, ma'am. Which I was confused about because I've never really seen a problem statement. None of the rubrics that was given to us show where the problem statements were actually cited with the citations in the middle of it, but the examples did. The actual examples that, previous theses showed where they had the actual citations in the middle of the problem statement. So that's how I figured that's what he wanted.
I've seen that too. I'm so glad that's being brought up because I've done that too. And so when you have double citations, you just put them back to back at the end of the sentence?
That's
Okay.
that's what I do.
Okay.
Okay.
And they should be in
Alphabetical order.
alphabetical order as they're found in the reference section. Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Dr. Boone said that. Uh-huh. He's my boss.
I mean, I may have very well misunderstood him.
I don't think you did.
Nice cleanup.
Yeah, I may have actually misunderstood him. I'm sorry.
Oh no, Alicia, please know that Dr. Boone and I have worked since I was 14 years old, which has only been a couple of years. But he is the best boss I've ever had. And we can talk about absolutely anything. So for me to bring this topic up it's going to be a fun conversation.
Ooh. Dr. Boone's going to be very upset with me.
No, it's all good, girl. It's all good.
I'll need someone to set us straight.
Somebody's got to keep him in alignment.
Right.
But anyway.
Alicia, nice paper.
Yeah. I got to work on mine.
Mm-hmm.
Alicia, what I would like to challenge you with, though, is is going through your methodology section and getting rid of all the first person. And also, I'm noticing in the purpose statement section, this study. I would suggest changing the wording to the proposed study.
Okay, that's fine.
This. Oh. Okay. Yeah, I'm getting rid of first person in your background section too.
Oh, I gotta do that too.
Your whole paper is ready. Look at that. Beautiful.
Isn't that awesome?
Yes. Nice paper, Lisa. Nice paper.
Thank you.
You're welcome, dear.
Okay.
Dr. Boone stressed me out.
Wow. It's a good paper. It really is.
So did he provide a lot of feedback?
Yes, he did.
Good.
I changed my topic twice.
Oh, okay.
So I had to redo it.
Are you studying what you want to study?
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, that doesn't sound convincing.
No, it doesn't, does it?
Sorry.
Yeah.
Well, initially it was on the digital divide, and then with respect to what's going on right now, and ease of access to technology and feasible technology during the COVID virus among a district. But then I changed it because, I mean, there's limited research right now with everything with the COVID. So I don't want to be the person to do it. So.
Yeah.
Right.
It's such a reality, though. Such a reality.
Yes, it is.
Dang it.
But I think I am going to include the COVID in this portion of the paper. I just don't know how to incorporate it in this paper, because what I am noticing globally is parents have mixed emotions about being involved in their kids' education when it comes down to them being directly involved.
Yeah.
And so I want to see about doing it or adding that component to it. And when Dr. Boone and I talked about it, he said that I could possibly observe it from different avenues or different perspectives anyway.
Oh.
So I just don't know how to fix it.
You could be the trailblazer on the research.
Yeah, sure can be.
I want to graduate.
I want to graduate as quickly as possible.
But that's the reality. That sounds like such a good topic, Alicia.
It does.
That's the reality.
Yeah.
So many parents, my coworkers, I hear them, complaining I can't cuss here, but all day long about being, teachers to their kids and how hard it is to get them to focus and.
But they actually have problems in the classroom, but they don't believe the teacher.
Yes.
Yeah. Yep. What I'm going to find interesting is after all of this settles down and everything gets back to normal, quote unquote.
Yeah.
Oh, what that is.
I bet teachers are going to be appreciated a lot more. I sure hope so.
Should be reflected in their salaries too.
Then that's where I was going with this, Lisa. Yeah.
I wish I was paid like a superstar.
They are so unappreciated. I mean, they're undervalued big time.
They are.
Really are.
I think the biggest picture is that people, parents and everybody have their opinion about how education should go right now and how things should be handled, but nobody's actually asking the educator.
Yeah.
There's no conversations that include the voices of the real people who are, in that portion of the field. So
isn't that amazing?
It's been like that for a while.
People know that with COVID-19, people like Alicia and others who teach, Lisa and myself taught for over 40 years. I didn't even take any one day of vacation with all the paperless work to cover with online learning. Of course, being center of the stage, I couldn't even take a day off. People say we have a vacation in the summer. They're taking a summer vacation. And this year, my dear friends in Dr. Hill, I'm sure that my cohorts would agree. I'm sure we're in the same boat. They're very dedicated people. I was on the job every day and happy to do it. But I think that with COVID-19 and everything being paperless, I think that for me, if it's possible, the workload is even greater.
Yeah.
Wow. But Dr. Hill, how could I incorporate that in? I mean, seemed like to me, if I wanted to incorporate that with the COVID, I would be chasing rabbits because there's no evidence or research out there to validate my thinking.
It depends on the perspective that you take, Alicia, and also a research study needs to fill a gap in the existing body of knowledge. And if there isn't much existing knowledge out there, there's a large gap to fill. Choose your gap. Does that make sense?
At least I know it sounds like a lot of work, but you got a good paper, girl. Get it in there.
Well, the thing of when I proposed my dissertation topic to my chair, he just kind of sat back in his chair and he said, "Marty, nobody's ever done this before." And I said, "Oh, cool. This is going to be easy then. There's not much blah, blah, blah." He said, "No, that makes it a little bit harder because there isn't any existing knowledge. But it can be done because I did it."
You can do it, Alicia.
You can.
We have faith in you. We're squad.
It's needed. That research is needed.
I want to graduate.
So real right now. So real right now. It sounds like you're more passionate.
Yeah, you can do it. Sometimes our obstacles seem insurmountable, but with our faith and our values, and with the great minds that everybody has. Lisa obviously is a talk of conversation, but you're all folks in the same boat. I respect you all greatly. I mean that sincerely. The sky's the limit. Everyone here is going to do it beautifully. It's a matter of living it out. And I know they're doing well. I have total faith in everybody. This is a wonderful group, and we're really grateful to have a wonderful teacher also.
Okay.
Well, thank you, Douglas.
You bet. You bet. Thank you.
So does anybody have any, oh, we've got a question. Sorry, I'm going to have to leave. Bye, Lisa. Lisa left.
Okay.
Thank you so much Piers and Dr. Hill. Best of luck on your assignments and the rest of the week. Till next Saturday, take care. Okay, thank you, Lisa. So does anybody have any last questions for me or concerns or anything?
Dr. Hill, I have a question.
Yes,
I
ma'am.
was looking through the doctoral guide, dissertation guide, and I got to the section about the theoretical and conceptual framework. I'm doing a mixed research method, and I noticed that in that section it says to choose one or the other, the theoretical or conceptual.
Okay, and Sonia, great question, and I'm glad you asked. The dissertation guide is a guide. It's not a manual.
Okay.
And you said you're doing the mixed methods?
Yes.
And my first thought is you can do one or the other or both.
Okay.
It just all depends on your topic and how you're wanting to frame that topic. Are you wanting to frame it with theory? Are you wanting to frame it with different parts of concepts of existing theory? Or, you know, it depends on what you want to do and how you present it and how you substantiate your discussion. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Oh,
Okay,
good.
thank you.
Yes. Great question. Anybody else?
No, I have to really.
Doctor, how soon you want me to have that shall I say, message containing my prospectus, or what will be, I'm sorry, my prospectus is a skeptical format now, as you know. How soon do you need that to be able to review and get back to me, please?
Douglas, it's not anything that I'm going to get to right away. It's just whenever I have a few minutes, I'll pop people's papers up and work on them and then send them back when I'm done. So at your convenience, sir.
Well, I appreciate it. That answers the question. I like everybody and yourself, you're working so hard, Doctor, and everybody here is working so hard. I have my own plate of responsibilities, so I'll put that on the priority list and I'll get to it as soon as I possibly can.
That'd be great.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Cheryl, did you have a question?
No, doctor. I just have to really assess what I'm doing and get it together so I can get something to you. Because right now my head is all over the place. It really is.
Well, and you know, just know that the actual submitting of your Res 709, the first step in the prospectus isn't until week 6. Okay?
Yes. Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
Thank you. Jason, do you have any questions?
No, ma'am. It's been a
Awesome.
wonderful day today.
Did you learn something?
Yes, especially I love the Control T.
Oh, I do too. Somebody showed that to me. It was only a couple of years ago, and it was like, that is too cool. Too cool.
The what? I missed that.
Well, thank you, Jason, for the input. I learned so much about the Blackboard auspices. I worked in that, of course, we all did in our master's, but Dr. Hill, thank you for explaining it so carefully. I'm really glad I attended. That was an eye-opener. There are things I can do that make my life easier. I tend to do things the old dinosaur way, step by step, which is okay, but it fills so much time, but you really helped me tremendously. I appreciate that.
Good, I'm glad.
Cheryl, he was saying Control T.
Say again?
He was referring to the Control T for the reference page.
Do you remember that, Cheryl?
No, yes, I remember that. I just missed part of it. So I was like, what? Sorry.
Oh, no. Do you want me to go over it again real quick?
No. I took really clear notes. I know how to do that now.
Excellent. Okay.
Somebody said, hey.
This has
Thank you all
been really
so much for for taking time out of your busy schedules. It's so appreciated. And again, what I'll do this week is put another discussion thread in week 3. And the goal is to give you an opportunity to share something that you've learned or that you found helpful through this Saturday morning chat. It will count as participation, 1 post. And the goal is to encourage the rest of your classmates to attend these, because there is so much information that's presented that it's good stuff. It's just good stuff.
I concur.
Yes, I agree. I learned so much more, Doctor, not only about the technology, which is, of course, very, very important for any teacher, but about how to be a better scholarly writer and use doctoral demeanor
Good.
In all of my writing. So it's been a huge, huge gift to me. I think we all would agree, and we thank you and we appreciate you.
Thank you so much, Douglas. You all have a wonderful weekend. Douglas, I hope your mom gets to feeling better soon.
Yes.
And
Oh, thank you so much. I will tell her that immediately. Thank you so much, Doctor. That means the world to me. Thank you so much.
you're so welcome, hon. Y'all have a safe and blessed weekend, and we'll see you in the